On today's episode of Ride the Line, I will rank the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. Yes, the top 15. Not just the top 10. We're going to be a little more expressive, a little more adventurous. We're going to get to the top 15, make it more inclusive. We're going to talk about the NBA's tanking problem, Adam Silver's proposed solutions, and why I think he's missing some very obvious answers. And then we're going to close it out by looking at the top NFL free agents and pairing them with their best destinations. So everybody, welcome back to Ride the Line. Appreciate you guys all being here. It's just me today, rocking out solo on this one. I told Tanner that I was going to be around to record on Thursday. Ultimately, I ended up falling very ill. I'm sure you can still hear it a little bit in my voice. My apologies if you do. I don't quite know where Tanner is right now, as a matter of fact. I don't actually know where he is in the world, but I do know I told him that I could record on Thursday, and then I couldn't because I was sick, and so here I am talking to you guys one-on-one today here on Friday. But nonetheless, we're still in for a great show today, so do me two favors. Number one, make sure you are liking the podcast. Number two, make sure you are sharing it. And if you guys want to check out whatever myself and Tanner are up to when we are not in front of the microphone, then go on over to WSN.com. That's where myself, Tanner, and the team of experts are breaking down all of the big games, sharing player props, futures odds, things like that. And above all else, we have thousands of dollars worth of promo codes for the sports books. That's BetMGM, FanDuel, Fanatics, Bet365, whatever you're looking for, we got it there. It can be bet to win, deposit matches, no sweat bets, whatever you're looking for, it's over there at WSN.com. So make sure you go check it out. Ranking the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, this is a conversation you normally hear. Hey, who's your top five, right? Like Jadakiss, top five dead or alive. That's just off one LP. Top five, who you got? Oh, what about the top 10? Who's going to make it in there? We're going to go with the top 15 in this video today. And the reason that I wanted to do that is I wanted to make it more expansive because the deeper you get into the list, number one, the harder it is to do. But number two, the more you learn about who actually knows football and who doesn't. And let me make this clear. This is my list. Everybody's list is going to look different. So as we go through this, it is your guys' responsibility to scroll down to the comment section and let me know what I got right and let me know what I got wrong. And I got my hands up. I am fully prepared for most people to tell me I got it wrong because, again, everybody's got different lists. But that's the fun of this stuff. So if you guys are having fun here on the channel, then you also you owe it to me to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well because we got videos coming out every single day and it's the off season, but there's still a bunch of fun content on the way, especially with free agency and the draft on the horizon. You want to make sure that you are subscribed. So I'll start by saying how I came to my rankings here. I combined what we just saw from these players last season, what we have seen from them over the course of their careers, and their future outlook, and also playoff success. I feel like that's important. Playoffs were kind of their own bucket. So those four groups were kind of combined together. And again, there's an element of recency bias based on what we saw most recently, and also what I am projecting for the future. How do I think these players are going to look in the next year or two? Because ultimately, we're heading into 2026. So technically, this is a 2026 list. So there has to be an element of projection in it. And that's probably where we're going to differ the most because everybody, again, sees things differently. But I'm not going to keep qualifying this anymore. Let's just jump into the list. And again, one final time, let me know what you agree or disagree with in the comment section below. So I said this is top 15. I'll actually start at 16. I'll just start at an honorable mention. I put Jackson Dart. I did. I gave Jackson Dart heavy consideration here. Now, does he have one of the 15 best resumes in the NFL for quarterbacks? Of course not. Was he a top 15 quarterback last year? Well, actually, if you look at EPA per play, I believe he was 15th. So by that measure, he was. He certainly made a profound impact on a team that was losing a bunch of games, and he did it without Malik Neighbors. He did it while losing Cam Scatterbo. So certainly things he can get better at, and I don't think he is currently a top 15 quarterback, but I do feel as if the trajectory is there. Neighbors coming back, Scatterbo coming back, Harbaugh coming in. I feel like it's definitely possible when we have this conversation next year that he could be in there. So he starts us off as an honorable mention. Number 15 for me is going to be Baker Mayfield. And I get it, he did not finish the season well. Baker was the MVP of the NFL through the first 5 or 6 weeks, and then he was pretty awful towards the end of the season. Ended up still finishing 12th in QBR, and that's not the best metric in the world. And I just closed my tab with EPA on it, so I don't have that readily available for you. But 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Again, that's not terrible. Did finish 20th in EPA, though. It's the inconsistency with Baker and some of the carelessness with the football. He is aggressive, and that means he makes the highlight plays, but he also turns the football over. So you can win with Baker, and but he's not. I guess he hasn't had that signature run in his career just yet. So we'll put him at 15. At 14, I'm going with Jared Goff. And Goff is a very good player at doing what he's asked to do. And totally different styles of players. But I would liken him to Jalen Hurts in the sense that those guys do a good job of what they're asked to do. Jalen is asked to, on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, tush push it, convert it for us. Don't turn the ball over. Don't throw interceptions. And the defense and the running game will kind of, carry you to victory more times than not. It's not dissing Jalen Hurts. The 2 best games I've ever seen from him were in the Super Bowl, so he stepped up in big moments, but that's what he is. With Jared Goff, it's like, okay, we know what this is. We're going to run the football really well. Got really good receivers, really good offensive system, maybe the best offensive line in football. Just be accurate. Play indoors in the dome. Don't do anything crazy. And Jared Goff can do a good job of that. Now, has he willed his team to victories in big moments? He's had some, 3-4 interception games in the playoffs. He was in a Super Bowl and he didn't really do anything there. I think Jared Goff definitely benefits from the players around him. Again, not dissing him because it's not a negative to say that he has good teammates, but I don't look at him as a true game changer. So I got Goff at 14. At 13, I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. And I've come a long way with this because I was not a Purdy guy originally. But when you watch him play, he makes a lot of plays, whether it's just rolling around with his feet, escaping to the outside, making some high-risk throws. Intermediate stuff off the play action, of course, is really good. Not amazing numbers this season. Only played in 9 games, but 2,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I guess if you think about it, 20 touchdowns in 9 games, he was on pace for, what would that be? If we did 17 divided by 9 and we multiply that by 20, he was on pace for 38 passing touchdowns this season. And he also had 3 rushing touchdowns. So pretty productive from that sense. Did throw probably too many interceptions because that means he's also on pace for like 18 or 19 interceptions. Still crazy to me. Jameis Winston had a 30-30 season. I don't know how we could ever forget that. But Brock Purdy, you watch him play, the decision-making has gotten better over the course of his career. He is in a good system, but we also saw Purdy battle a lot of adversity this year, whether it was injuries to himself, to his teammates, and he stepped up as someone who could actually make plays. And for a long time, most people thought he was just a byproduct of the system and the talent around him, but no, he was actually a playmaker. So I got Purdy at 13. And 12, I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence, who was someone who put himself into MVP conversations towards the end of the season. Something just clicked for Jacksonville, and I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that it took them a little bit to figure things out because you had a first-time coach with Liam Cohen, or first-time head coach, I should say. You had a 30-year-old offensive coordinator with Grant Udinsky. Trevor Lawrence hadn't really played his best football in recent years, but this year he figured it out, and this was probably the best year of his career. 4,000 yards, 29 passing touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns as well. So 38 total touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Again, the Jaguars won on this massive win streak, won 8 or 9 straight games, won 13 games, finished 13-4 during the regular season. And Lawrence threw a lot of very catchable footballs. I was let down by some drops, so got him at 12. I got Jordan Love just outside the top 10. He's the first one to miss out. Jordan Love was actually 3rd in EPA per play this season. Matter of fact, he might have been 2nd. I want to double check that because I wrote down 3rd in my notes, but I feel like that might be a mistake. No, he was 2nd. Number 1 was I'm not going to say them because they haven't come up on the list yet. But Brock Purdy was actually 3rd, and Jordan Love was 2nd. So Jordan Love coming off a very good year. Only the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to have 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in a playoff game and lose. So you can't really knock him for that. The thing about Jordan Love is, down to down, he is such a good quarterback. His mistakes are just so head-scratching that you look at him and you think he's got like the bozo gene. And you think he's probably worse than he is, but he is a good quarterback. So we got to give him his respect where it's due. Number 10, congratulations to Sam Darnold for making it in here. Man, what a difference a couple of years can make. And when Darnold first started this sort of reclamation, when he was with the Vikings, and he played his way into MVP conversations. I was there saying it's Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell, great offensive system. And don't get me wrong, Darnold deserves credit, but he's not an MVP type guy. Let's be honest with ourselves. I still stand by that in the sense that I don't think Sam Darnold's going to truly be in MVP conversations. But I got to admit, even though he did throw 14 interceptions this year, which was the third most in the NFL, Darnold in the biggest moments stepped up and was excellent, specifically that Rams game. Now, he was better in the Rams game than the Patriots game in the Super Bowl, and that's kind of backwards because a lot of the Seahawks players were saying they felt the Rams game was the Super Bowl. They felt the Rams were better than the Patriots were. But in that Rams game, Darnold goes 25 of 36 for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. Didn't even need to conjure a game-winning drive. They just straight up beat the Rams. And again, Darnold was very good in that game. And while he did throw those 14 interceptions during the regular season, the fact he cleaned it up in the playoffs actually says maybe even more to me. He was there and he was available and ready to go in the biggest moments. And even though he didn't play amazing in the Super Bowl, he played well and he didn't turn the football over and his team won the game. Kind of like, if we're going to go back to Jalen Hurts, where it's just don't turn the football over and we'll win. He knew that was the case with his defense going against the Patriots, and he did a very good job. So I got Sam Darnold in the top 10. And then I'm going to keep it in the AFC, number 9, Dak Prescott. People like to hate on Dak, and I understand why. The Cowboys, they don't do much, right? They're just the perennial miss the playoffs. They get there and it's our year. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And then they lose by 20 points in the wild card. It's fun to pick on the Cowboys. It truly is. But Dak Prescott can sling that football. And the thing that's so impressive about Dak is he takes all of these high risk throws. He's willing to throw the football into the tight windows. And has he benefited, or last year did he benefit from CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens? Yeah, of course. But Dak also put up numbers before those guys were there. We can't get in this habit of criticizing people because they have good teammates. Are we fair? Are we within our rights to say this guy has no offensive line and no receivers, so he deserves to be elevated a little bit? Yeah, sure. But we also can't knock players for having good players around them. And Dak, we saw him do it with his legs as a younger man. He doesn't really scramble as much anymore, but he stands in that pocket. He throws the football, sprays it all over the field, left, right, middle, deep, intermediate, short. Doesn't matter. He's willing to air it out. And Dak is definitely in the top 10 in the NFL. My 8th ranked quarterback going into 2026 is going to be the MVP runner-up, Drake Maye. Now, some people are probably going to have Drake Maye I would say there's probably going to be people who have Drake Maye at 5th, maybe even higher than that. And I can understand why. Again, he was the MVP runner-up, so that tells you he was second best quarterback in the NFL, judging off of that. Great season last year. 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, another 4 rushing touchdowns, and he finished first in the NFL in EPA. That's the guy that I wasn't mentioning. First in the NFL in EPA. So obviously Drake Maye is a very good player, but the playoffs were just so bad, genuinely so bad, that I had to knock him down because he had those opportunities and his team won games. But for him to have more turnovers than he did touchdowns, for his completion percentage to fall from 72% in the regular season to 58.3% in the playoffs. In the Super Bowl, he had 60 yards no touchdowns going into the fourth quarter. It's just, I don't want to say the moment was too bright for him because that implies that he can't fix that. And I don't believe that's the case. I believe Drake Maye's got an incredibly bright future, but he did have the opportunity to perform on the biggest stage, and he didn't do it. So I got Drake Maye at 8. And this is where it's going to get controversial because I do have Jayden Daniels at number 7. And you will notice the Commander stuff behind me. So inherently, my opinion is biased. However, I've actually been prone to being more critical of the teams and players I support than the ones that I don't, because I try to eliminate that bias. So if you guys think this is a biased take, go ahead and let me know. Now, Jayden last year obviously did not play as well as he did as a rookie, and the injuries are a concern, but to me, the injuries were all minor issues. Now, if next season he continues to have minor issues, but he still has like 3 different injuries and they cause him to miss different games, then I'll knock him off the list, no doubt. But I don't look at him. People call him RG3. I think that's crazy. It's no major injuries. And then the difference between him and Drake Maye was while Drake Maye had a better regular season than Jayden did, Jayden, with inferior talent around him, was the best player in the playoffs last year, whereas Drake Maye was kind of riding on his historic performance from the defense, while his offense, I forget the exact stat, but they scored the fewest points of any team that played 3 games en route to the Super Bowl. So for me, that's the difference. And the playoffs aren't the end-all, be-all. However, they do matter. Both these guys are young, and they're both incredibly talented, and the future is bright. So if you want to flop them around, that's totally okay with me. I just feel like they are both right there with each other, and they'll be very good quarterbacks for years to come. My first player to miss the top 5, and here we go. It's Justin Herbert. People are going to hate that because Herbert hasn't won a playoff game in his NFL career, and he was pretty disappointing in his playoff game against the Patriots, although he was just totally outmanned. He had nobody blocking for him. Herbert had 13 interceptions this year. That was a big turnaround from when he had 3 the year before, the fewest in the NFL. You watch this guy play football, it's so apparent that he's ridiculously talented. He can do amazing things with the football. He's got some receivers around him, but losing Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt just killed this team. They could not protect their quarterback, and as soon as they ran up against better defenses, they had no choice. And then Amari Hampton gets injured. They can't really run the football towards the end of the year, so the defense knows that they're passing. It was just a mess. And I'm not even one of the Justin Herbert guys. I'm not a Justin Herbert apologist. It's just pretty obvious when you watch him play. He's an incredibly talented player. My number 5 player, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. There's always been the big 4. Well, I shouldn't say always, but there's been the big 4 in the NFL for recent seasons. But Lamar's got this thing where he's just like outstanding for a couple years, and then he's a little mid, and then he's outstanding, and then he's a little mid again. And this year, I mean, the numbers don't look terrible. 21 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, a 3-1. You'll take that. 2,500 yards. Was the lowest completion percentage of his career since 2022. Third lowest of his career. Thought it was lower than that, but third lowest of his career. He's just got this thing where, like, if he's not a fully 100% healthy, then he's not going to run, and that affects some of his passing somehow. The offensive balance seems off, so I don't really know what to expect from Lamar. When he's playing at his best, he's the best quarterback in the world, but I just can't guarantee that it would be there, and he hasn't had the crazy playoff success. He's gotten to an AFC championship game, but his team was favored, and they lost, and I believe they were at home in that game as well, and that's inexcusable. So I got Lamar at 5. I got Burrow just ahead of him at 4, and it's kind of the same thing with Herbert there, but I mean, a little bit different in the sense that Herbert had the defense. Burrow doesn't have the defense. Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. He did lose it, but he's the only guy in the modern era to really beat Mahomes in the playoffs. He puts up these incredible numbers and plays winning football. It's just his coach and his defense doesn't. So he doesn't have the support there, but I can't knock that. I can't use that as a reason to move him out of the top 5 or the top 4 in this case. Number 3, I'll go with Matt Stafford just because the incredible ascent that he has been on in the later stages of his career. I mean, Stafford wins the first MVP of his career at 37 years old, coming off of leading the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns, 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. And then in his playoff run, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had the game-winning drive against the Bears, where he brings the team back. He had the game-winning drive against the Panthers as well. Can't forget that was actually a close game. And then against the Seahawks, his team did end up losing, but Stafford was outstanding against the best defense in the NFL. 374 yards, 10.7 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, only sacked 1 time. Stafford was not the reason that his team lost that game. And when you compare him to Burrow, when you compare him to Lamar, right now, who is more of a guarantee on a play-to-play, down-to-down, drive-to-drive, game-to-game basis? The answer is Matt Stafford. I almost put him ahead of the guy I have number 2. I went with Josh Allen. The Josh Allen stuff is frustrating to me because Josh Allen does so many boneheaded things, and he makes these big mistakes, and he can't beat the Broncos. And it's like, dude, when is it ever going to happen for you? I didn't want to fall fully victim being prisoner to the moment because Josh Allen is the majority of that offense. James Cook was outstanding, but they don't have a great offensive line, and they haven't had receiver help, And I understand that Stafford has McVay and Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and the great offensive line. So I didn't want to be too mean and move Josh Allen down, but I'm just at the point where I'm like, man, you've got this crazy talent. Let's see it happen. He shouldn't have won MVP. He should not have won MVP. It should have been Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was better in literally every single statistical category and beat him head to head. So I'm just frustrated, and I want to see more from Josh Allen. And the number one, it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's just because the Chiefs, because they didn't win 3 straight Super Bowls, because he hurt his knee, Mahomes has to go to, no. You want to beat the king. You got to cut his head off, take the crown. Nobody has done that. Burrow's the only one to beat him in the playoffs, and then after that happens, Mahomes goes to 3 straight Super Bowls, wins 2 of them. He's still clearly the best quarterback in the NFL. We do have to see how he looks coming off of his knee injury, but Mahomes isn't like an overly athletic guy, someone who relies on his athleticism to be great anyway. So that's my top 15. We'll go from the bottom to the top. Baker, Goff, Purdy, Lawrence, Love, Darnold, Dak, Maye, Jayden, Herbert, Lamar, Burrow, Stafford, Allen, and Mahomes. What do you guys think of that list? Whatever you got, go down to the comments, leave your thoughts there. And while you're down there again, even if you don't like the list, you enjoy the content though, you got something out of it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe as well, because we got videos coming out all the time.